Good morning, everybody. MG here from mgcovers.com, bringing you another NHL betting preview for March the 8th, 2019. Happy Friday. Big weekend ahead. We're going to give you a complete statistical breakdown analysis of every game in NHL. Tonight, we only have five games, real small card, so let's get started. All right, how we calculate our power rankings, I've discussed this before, but just a quick overview. We combine even goal differential with power play and penalty kill percentage, only using the stats from the last 10 games. That gives us a more predictive model of how these teams are going to perform tonight. The highest power ranking would be a 120. That would be that team would have a 60% chance of winning. A team that is 80, that's the lowest that we would go, or we would round up if a team is in the 60s or 70s. That means that team has a 40% chance of winning. So looking at tonight's card, we have Minnesota coming off a huge win. Shutout Tampa. Isn't that crazy? Good win for Minnesota for sure. They come in at minus 116. I know this line's changed since I actually did this. Power ranking of 91, going on the road to face Florida. Florida minus 105. Florida has a power ranking of 107, so we do have value on the Florida side. So we will take a look at this game a lot closer. Next, New Jersey, huge dogs, plus 285. Have a 98 power ranking on the road to face Washington, playing really excellent hockey right now. They're minus 325. Power ranking 114. And to give you some insight on lines, how they're made, you're looking at, wow, Washington's huge favorite. That means they're really a lot better than New Jersey. Actually, what it means is the way the odds makers set the line is they have to. It's more going the other direction. Everybody knows that Washington should beat New Jersey convincingly, but they can't lay a small line, say like minus 140, minus 150, somewhere in there, because then the general public would just pound Washington. So what they do is they inflate the favorite or shade, and that takes it to minus 325 in order to get action on New Jersey at plus 285. Because now when people look at this game, the general public, not myself, but the general public go, okay, so I can get real good dog money playing New Jersey for the potential upset, and that helps even out the action, which is the whole premise and what Sportsbook is trying to do. They're trying to have even action. Moving along, next game, Winnipeg plus 140. 87 power ranking on the road to face Carolina. After that tough loss to Boston, they are the favorites at home, minus 161. We have them at a power ranking of 130, so in essence, that's a 120 power ranking. Have value on the Carolina side on the three-way line, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. And finally, Montreal minus 110, power ranking of 94 on the road to face Anaheim, minus 110. They have a power ranking of 101. So next, this is called our money line conversions. We take the odds that are given for a game and we convert them, and we compare those odds against our line for the game to see how much edge and value that we have, and look at some situational angles to factor in as well. Okay, Florida, they have odds of minus 105. Our line is minus 115. Giving Florida, using our stat model, a 53% chance of winning the game. Now, so we have value there, but not a lot. I think this has moved to dog money now for Florida. So there's some value there between the lines. Not a lot, but a little bit. Florida, however, has lost their last 6 games. 4 of those games went into overtime. So they're definitely not playing with, I wouldn't necessarily no confidence, but they're probably a really frustrated team because all those games were so close. Minnesota's won their last 3 out of 5. Minnesota has huge confidence, especially after that big win against Tampa. Florida does have a marginal home advantage. They're 16-12 at home. Taking a look at the goalies. For Florida, it looks like they're going to go with their backup. Montembeault, if I pronounce that correct. He's played 1 game, gave up 4 goals to Carolina in that game. And Minnesota looks like they're going with their backup as well. Stalock, he's given up 2, 4, 4, 3, and 2. I would say probably, if anything, advantage Minnesota in this one, but we definitely don't have a goalie advantage on the Florida side. So again, this is important to look at and discuss briefly because the stat line that we use, our stat model, shows Florida would be the play, but when you look at it situationally, it's not. And if you're in this business, it's like any business, you're trying to make good decisions. We want as many angles, so we want to have advantage in our stat model. We want to have an advantage in situational angles as well. Okay, moving along. Next game, Carolina. The odds on the three-way line are minus 110. I think that's changed somewhat here lately. Recently, in the last hour, it's 10 o'clock Eastern here. Our line for that game is minus 150. So that would be 60% chance of winning. And the way to figure out your margin is you would take minus 110, and I'll talk about margin. Or if you're running a business, it would be what you're buying it at buying it at wholesale and selling it for retail. So in essence, 110, you would take 110 divided by 150. That comes to 73%, and you just invert it. So that would be 27% margin. So there's a 27% margin between our line and the odds maker's line. So we're getting good value. It would be the same if it's confusing to you. It would be the same if you walked into a store and you said, "Hey, how much are these headphones?" They said, "Well, these headphones are 27% off." So that's a pretty good deal. So and that's what we're looking for, value. And just like if you're running a business, you can't buy at retail and sell at retail. You'll lose long term. Same with playing heavy favorites. You might win occasionally, but you're not going to win long term. So what we have to do in this business, we have to have value. In other words, we have to buy at wholesale, buy a team at wholesale, and sell and play that line at buy at wholesale, sell at retail. In essence. So anyway, if that's confusing, sorry. But okay, Carolina is playing with a lot of confidence right now. They've won their last 4 out of 5. Only loss is coming to Boston, in my opinion. Talked about this with my partner at Jimmy at Dogs and Aces. Probably Boston's probably the only team we think could take Tampa in a series in the playoffs. We'll see. Carolina has I put confidence advantage in there twice. My bad. They do have a winning home record, 18-10 at home. One important factor to look at when you're looking at Carolina playing. So I had a brain feast here. Winnipeg. Winnipeg has 2 defensemen injured. I can't pronounce their names, but it definitely will play a role. One of them, I think, is sick. Not sure if he's going to play tonight. Moving along to goalie. McElhinney for Carolina's given up 4. That was against Boston. But his next 5 games, he gave up 2, 0, 2, 1, 1 goals. So he's playing great in the pipes. And Winnipeg is going to go with their backup. Their starter, he was hurt, so it looks like they're going to go with a backup who only has 1 win in the last 5 starts. And one thing I'm going to talk about this briefly. This line's really, in my opinion, is sort of a bad line, which we can exploit that by playing Carolina on a 3-way. And the reason this line should have Carolina more as the favorite is because of public perception. Remember, I talked about the odds makers. They set the line based on public perception. Which team has, a better opportunity to win the game. Winnipeg is 39-23. And so what happens is the general public, that's what they look at. The general public's not going to do what I just did, make up power rankings, look at value. And I'll back up on the slide here, and you can see Winnipeg, 87 power ranking. So we're just looking at their most recent performance. So their most recent performance for us looks like, they're not playing well. Carolina's playing really well. But the public will look at Winnipeg is 39-23. They have a winning record, so they perceive Winnipeg as a really good team. So that's why the line is not more of a favorite towards Carolina. So anyway, rambling a little bit. Hey, and one other thing too, I want to go back to this first game real quick. Both Florida and Minnesota are playing their 3rd game in 4 days, so both teams will be heavily fatigued. And when we are placing wagers, I want our power rankings are, again, they look at the last 10 games. So when you have teams that are fatigued, it's hard to factor that in to your power rankings. I mean, if they're playing their 3rd game in 4 days, how much do we take off or add to a power ranking? I don't know. So a lot of times, to be safe, if you're unsure, when in doubt, do without. So it would be a no play. So moving on to our selections for today, we have already played this. We played this about an hour and a half ago. We're going to go Carolina on a 3-way line, minus 110. If you're not sure what a three-way line is, I'll explain it briefly. You have, as opposed to a money line, we have two options. You can pick the dog or the favorite. A three-way line, you can pick the favorite, you can pick the dog, or you can predict that the game will go into overtime or a draw for soccer. So by doing that, it reduces the odds, reduces the juice for the favorite, and increases the money for the dog. So again, if this game goes into overtime, we would lose. And we've done a research. Hockey games only go into overtime about 11%. So we're getting huge value there. Now, moving along, that was our regular play. If you would like to pick up our NHL totals play, we hit this last night. We had huge value. Again, we've got great value tonight. It's funny I mentioned that 27% margin. We actually have 27% margin on tonight's totals play. If you want to pick that up, you can pick it up for a week and get a week of plays for $75. Or if you can get the daily for $25, there's a link in the description box. Again, great value, and one last night, and it looks like to be a good play tonight. So that's the video, guys. Hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content. I've got two videos I'm working on. One's going to be how to make a line for soccer, and I'm also going to do a video on bankroll management, but it's probably not what you've ever seen as far as bankroll management. It's a way where you can play 5 or 6 games, win or lose. The most you would lose every day would be 1 unit. So it's a real creative way to grow your bankroll conservatively and with very little risk. So look forward to making those for you. So whoever you're wagering on tonight, good luck, everybody. Hope everybody has a great weekend.